Hello, everybody, and welcome to Unconventional GMs, the channel where we play tabletop RPGs in short, pacey one-shot sessions with pace, vim, and vigour. We're visiting the old world today. We're going to Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay as part of a series where we're going to explore the classic sort of Games Workshop franchises through the Cubicle 7 RPGs, maybe with quite similar player characters in there, sort of like an Eternal Champion vibe, except with a lot more sort of chaos and pubs and grimdark fantasy. Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay is set in a sort of Germanic low fantasy Europe. Magic is dangerous. The evil, ruinous powers of chaos are everywhere. You have as much to fear from the scary bloke sat next to you in the pub as you have from orcs, goblins, and the Skaven rat people that, as far as people know, do not exist. I'm Guy from the Burn After Running blog. I can say that. And I'm going to be the games master for this session. We're running an adventure from Cubicle 7's one-shots of the Reichland PDF, which is 5 really good short little one-shots that you can get in. And this adventure is the lock-in from it. Without further ado, I'll introduce my fellow players and their characters, starting with Gaz. Who are you and who are you playing?
Hello, I'm Gaz Barback. I'm one half Unconventional GM, playing this time happily, and also one half of What Would the Smart Party Do, the UK's premier RPG podcast. I am playing tonight a seasoned, grizzled veteran. He is Yannick Wall, or Val, perhaps, if we're being Germanic. Who knows? Maybe Yannick Val. Let's go with that. He's quite young, but he's got a grizzled veteran's face. It looks older than it is. It's weather-beaten. There's scars. There's maybe the odd pock mark from some pox or plague that he has had in the past. And you can tell he's used to being outdoors. He's dressed in waxed leather gear. He's got just water seems to be dripping off him constantly, even when you're inside by the fire. He's good with a bow. He keeps a keen eye out for trouble, and he tries to look after his companions as well as he's the old one in spirit. He always puts his arms around someone and say, "Oh, when you've seen the things I have," despite the fact that most of the party are probably older than he is.
Lovely, lovely. And next up, it's Ian. Who are you and who are you playing?
Hi, I'm Ian McAllister from The Giant Brain. I am a tabletop games critic. I run a tabletop podcast called Brainwaves, which covers tabletop news, and I also run one called Cult of the Old, which looks at older tabletop games and puts them in a modern cultural context. Tonight, I'll be playing Alric Dockenstall, a scholar, a dwarven scholar, who is maybe a little soft-spoken for a dwarf, certainly still likes his alcohol, and more than axes and that kind of accoutrement that you might normally find in a dwarf, though of course he does have those, he is normally laden down with many scrolls and books, and is quick with an opinion, and looks down upon those who think they are old at heart, because he's 105 years old.
Fantastic. Ian playing, it sounds like you're playing a critic there. That's very good.
It does sound like that, actually, doesn't it? Might turn out that way.
Fantastic. Chris, who are you and who are you playing?
I'm Dirk the Dice from the Grognard Files podcast. Good to be back. Thanks for having me back. And this time I'm playing Leah Hepner, who is definitely a troll slayer. You can tell by coxcomb that's been fashioned out of a brush. And she wears indigo clothes. So she goes by the name of Bluebell. Now, don't be put off by her teeth. For a minute, she had a bad licorice root habit, and it's made her teeth go into points. Don't worry about it, and neither worry about the baying crowds that chase her. The cow incident with the sour milk, it nothing to do with her whatsoever. Okay.
Excellent. So Leah's very, I mean, it sounds like she's very definitely not a witch.
She's certainly not a witch.
Definitely not
a troll slayer. A troll slayer.
Yeah. Excellent. Glad we cleared that up. And finally, Ben.
Hello, I'm Ben. I am one half, the other half, in fact, of What Would the Smart Party Do? Britain's premier role-playing podcast, as I'm sure we'll all agree. Tonight, I will be playing Max Meckler, a valiant, well, I say valiant, to a certain value of valiant, the valiant ex-soldier. I say ex-soldier, they're still paying me. It's just I don't have to show up for battles too many times these days. But me and my sword have fallen in with this this weird little coterie of independently minded import-export traders, and I will be trying to keep away from the law and the long arm of the Reichländer 69th Cannon.
Excellent, excellent. And so this is, as intimated, an already established adventuring group that have had so far some success on their ventures. Well, as successful as they're all still alive, at least. Maybe these are the successful members of a much larger adventuring party that set off. But following your success, you are resting and having a nice evening's repose in the Prancing Pegasus. It's a small coaching inn on the outskirts of the village of Hexenhenker on the Weissbruck Canal outside Altdorf. The town itself, you had a chance to walk through it on your way here, was small, unwelcoming, and the Pegasus seemed to be the only place where you could locate any outsiders or indeed anyone willing to serve you. And so you've settled in. You're just finishing off your bowls of stew. There's many people in the tap room with a Pegasus. You've got a little map up on your Roll20 that you can use to sort of look around, give an idea of what it is. So it's quite a large coaching inn. There are rooms upstairs. There's upwards of sort of 15, 16 to 20 people there at the moment, and it's just got dark about half an hour ago. But there's light. The oil lamps are lit. The fire is warm inside, and you are settling into a quiet evening's repose. In the longest traditions of tabletop role playing, then I'd like you to all make me a difficult perception check. So that's at -10. So it should pop up with a little bonus penalty thing.
Oh, well, you can tell it's the old world because you're giving us penalties already.
Yeah, I was going to say.
We'll just turned up.
The true WFRP experience.
Yeah.
Got success there.
Yeah, same.
Oh dear me, no. I'm staring in my glass of ale, wondering when the next one's coming from.
Yeah.
Alex just clean his glasses so it can see well. Puts them back over his ears.
Yeah. So Alric and Yannick, you are some of the first to notice quite a bit of sort of shouting outside. And as you sort of rush to the windows or the door of the inn to see what's happening, Max, you take a little bit longer to respond. You see sort of everyone moving towards the door first of all. Leah, you are pretty oblivious to this until a sort of half brick smashes a window and lands in your bowl of stew, like spilling it all everywhere. And then you realise and you sort of rush to go. As you go to the door, with many of the other inn's occupants, though obviously they're not all adventurous. They're not all as eager to see what's going on. You can see there's a large and quite well-armed mob, all carrying like flaming torches and quite a few pitchforks. You know, it's from the farmers of the surrounding villages are surrounding the inn and occupying the courtyard. The inn's two guards, called Helga and Helga, have stepped forward as well, but seem less than impressed by this. And I think turn to you, Yannick, as they see this and say, "Angry mob, we get them every so often. Crept up in the dark before we lit the torches. Don't worry, we'll sit tight in here. Probably something about taxes. It'll blow over in no time. You know what it's like."
I see. Well, actually, it's interesting fact that the taxes in the area have actually gone down recently, as you can see on these financial reports I have with me. I can take you through the actual finances and of the area if you'd like, and explain to you why that's actually quite bad for the area, if you'd like.
And as she looks somehow even more bored by the unfolding situation at Alaric's intervention, you hear a man step forward, from the mob, who is a lot more well-dressed than them, but still looking very well-travelled, tall, stout, middle-aged. He's got a distinctive style of hat that, Leah, you certainly recognise. If you weren't, you've seen this kind of person before, and it's the kind of person you very much don't want to see. He wears all the garb of a witch hunter. And he steps forward, says, "I'm Malthus Brunner, humble servant of Almighty Sigmar. The stench of evil is about you. This house and those within harbour the vilest heresy, the most abhorrent sin, and I come unto you with righteous judgment. Surrender yourselves, and your death will be swift and painless." And as he says this, one of the merchants who's been dining at the inn steps forward, sort of, and says, "Oh, this is ridiculous. What hogwash. If I knew some braggart was camping outside, I'd have kept riding to the other inn. I'm a citizen of Aldorf, and I'll have you know, a close personal friend of," and he's cut off by a group of these farmers, dragging him to the front, and like pushing him to his knees in front of the witch hunter, who says, "You see how the guilty flee like rats. No sinner can escape Sigmar's justice." And he draws his pistol. He says, "I'll burn this inn to the ground at dawn if I have to. Make peace with yourselves, for the cultists you hide within shall know justice somehow, like the pyres." And he's lowering his pistol at this merchant.
I'm going to. I've pulled out my short bow by now and strung it as all this has been going. Obviously, applied a bit of beeswax and given it a quick strum to make sure it rings nicely. He's presumably got an impressive hat that's like, everybody can see who he is from that. So I'm going to take aim through the hole in the window where the brick came that landed in the stew, and lick my lips and try and shoot his hat off his head to cause a Ferrarian distraction. To see if that puts him off his business.
You've described very well the kind of shot that might have a penalty to it, though.
Yeah, have I described the amount of time I took so I could have aimed, and then therefore got some kind of bonus as well?
So you're aiming at this hat. You've had ages to aim, even longer now. So do you want to make your roll? No bonus or penalty. This is to hit the witch hunter's hat off him.
I missed by 5 success levels, which I can't possibly see being a problem.
That's quite a lot. I think that this your arrow flies to one side. I'm going to make that unimpressive rather than just genuinely dangerous to you, like hit him or hit one of his bystanders or something. And it singularly unimpresses everyone apart from sort of the two Helgas are looking round and seeing, what are we doing to do it? And a shot rings out as this merchant is shot by the witch hunter. And there's a sudden sort of panic in the people in the inn who'd all like rush to the door as they all begin to rush back into the inn. We're saying, cultists, where? Who's the cultist? Maybe there's a witch in here. Maybe there's a witch in here. And you, as the mob sort of seizes forward, you're sort of pushed back into the inn where the two Helgas, like looking a bit sheepish now at their prediction this would all blow over in the morning, begin like bar the door and stuff, and just get people back in the inn. You hear the shouts from outside and say, as he says, "You have till dawn, then we'll burn this place to the ground. Search your souls for the corrupt within, and bring them to me."
I shout out the window. How many are you looking for? Can you give us an idea? And there's, narrow it down a little bit.
There's no answer for that. Although that would be useful to know, wouldn't it? More details.
Yes, it would be useful to know,
how many cultists they have. So as you get back in the inn, there's much sort of panic going on, and lots of sort of accusations being thrown. You can see several of the guests shooting glances towards one another. Some of them even at the four of you, to see if they can determine who it is who's hiding in here, who may be a cultist. Can I just get your immediate reactions to that? And then we'll see what else is happening in the inn. So, Yannick, you shot your bow out there, so I'm presuming you're a little bit to the back.
I'm berating someone, like someone who run back in and knocked me, even though it was after a shot. I'll be giving them a hard time for putting my aim off. I had the perfect shot and you bumbled into me like some kind of buffoon. How's a man supposed to do his job with idiots like you running around willy-nilly?
And yeah, the man who bundled into you, Hansel Fleischer, the inn's porter, this elderly gentleman, is like terribly apologetic. He's got a tray of like buns and bread that he's just trying to pick up off the ground as he sort of stumbles into you, still apologising about what's happening. Ian, what's Alric's reaction to this?
Alric is helping Helga and Helga bar the door, giving them a lot of sort of like technical advice on how to correctly bar a door. He's had a lot of experience with this, obviously barring the dwarf holes and such things while he was in the military there. And he's sort of like explaining at a great length. He is helping, but he's doing it in a very sort of roundabout kind of way.
Fantastic, fantastic. I'm sure it's a lot of help. What's Leah up to, Chris, at all this?
Leah's going to dive under the nearest table at this point. Happens in a replica of the witch hunter as a small doll. I don't know how that got there, but she's going to get that out just in case.
Okay, surreptitiously, I presume. Some troll slayer tradition. And Ben, what's Max up to while this is going down?
My very first instinct is to soil myself in absolute terror, thinking, "Oh no, they finally caught up with me." But luckily, I know what it's like to feel that kind of terror, and I gather my wits really quickly and scan the rest of the clientele in the pub to see who was going to have the same reaction I was. Who's the most scared? Is anybody bolting for a bolt hole, or trying to climb up the chimney, or hide themselves under a table, perhaps? Who's looking most guilty?
Fantastic. Well, as you do that, you can take stock of the situation, and two groups seem to have emerged. There's a group of sort of the more affluent, noble guests appear to be like gesturing to people to come into the snug. And in fact, I mean, the most respectable looking of you, which is probably Alric, they're looking towards you and seeing whether you should come into the snug, as they seem to be adjourning a meeting. One of them has a little hammer that he seems to have, and he's looking as if he's welcoming a few people into the snug to maybe to plan exactly what their reaction should be to it. Meanwhile, there's a coachman who was clearly staying in some of the cheaper areas of the room, who seems to have the idea to he seems to be getting people to go outside into the sort of side courtyard, and says, "Oh, we should just pray to Sigmar for deliverance. That'll make him sure of our innocence, and then they won't touch us. And then surely, if we were cultists, we wouldn't be able to pray to Sigmar, could we?" So these two things are going on. You can engage in one or the other of them, or you can do something else.
Alric will go to where he looks like he's been sort of summoned / welcomed to the sort of group that's holding some sort of meeting.
Excellent. Is anyone else going into the snug?
No, not the snug. I want to approach the coachman.
I think Leah's going to creep under the tables towards the snug, just so that she can perhaps carry a general direction. When I say hashtag anything, but I might.
Oh, we lost your audio for a bit there, Chris.
All right, just Leah will get closer to the snug from under the table. She wants to see if she can eavesdrop.
Okay, we'll hold that sneak roll over you until a more appropriate moment for you to make it. Cool. As you're under a table near the snug where all the important people are doing. Yannick, are you? What's your plan?
The coachman's more my speed, so I'm going to be shadowing the old soldier.
Excellent, excellent. So, if we look to the coachman first of all, he is. They managed to get into like side bit, and he's got a group of about 4 or 5 fellow sort of travellers, coachmen, a couple of the staff, and he begins to offer a prayer to Sigmar. I think there's like an old Sigmarite hymn that he begins to start singing. He very much doesn't seem like he knows what he's doing, though. He's no orator, and he doesn't seem to be very convincing in that. Are you taking part in this? Ben and Gaz, or are you leading it, or is there something you're trying to do with him?
Well, I swap glances with my my hunter companion, and hopefully we're singing off the same hymn book here. So
Nice.
I would like to confront the coachman and try to sway the crowd myself. And I will do that by marching forward towards him and saying, "You're a fool! You're a fool! You'll damn us all to hell! If you think that witch hunter out there is going to listen to these feeble prayers, you've got another thing coming, and it's a quick death, I tell you. I've met their kind before. There's no reasoning with them. They will absolutely will not stop. We need to find a way out of this, and that means finding cultists, not offering blithe promises to the blessed Sigmar, but Sigmar helps those who help themselves. What do you say, everyone? Should we root out some cultists and throw them to the beast outside?"
I'm going to support my friend by grabbing hold of someone nearby, the youngest and weakest looking, and saying, "My friend Max, he's telling lies to you. He's trying to dress it up. A quick death, slow death is all you get at the hands of a witch hunter. He's the nice one. Oh my God, you better listen to him."
Fantastic. So I think this is going to be a skill roll, Ben. Possibly
Sounds like it.
charm. Although and again, in the grand traditions, if you've got another social skill you think would work, you can get +10 because you've got assistance
Oh, cool.
from Yannick here.
Okay. Well, it's exactly the same numbers, but I feel like leadership might be a good call at this point. Okay, based on my intelligence, obviously. Okay, so a +10, so that's going to be very necessary because it's Warhammer. So let's see.
But unhelpful, maybe.
Success!
Oh,
Yikes,
Perfect.
and entirely down to the assistance of you throttling a weak child.
Yeah,
How we
it
do it.
worked. So you managed to, it turns against the coachman. Sebastian Lang is his name. You hear people chat about from that. And he's like, no, we should pray. We should pray. This is, I read that, but the people around are like, yeah, it'll be a quick death, We should just try and escape. We should just try and escape. And the mob begins to sort of, the 4 or 5 of you begin to sort of move towards this mob of, as you see it, like there's like 40 or 50 people at least outside, and they're all sort of heavily armed. A few of them begin to sort of move towards this mob, and there's a concurrent sort of throwing of bricks and so on back at them, as if they are attempting to sort of surge out and do it. And Sebastian is a little bit caught up in all this, and he's like, no, calm down. There's got to be a solution to it. If we just pray, that should work. Meanwhile, back in the snug, you notice, Alric and Leah, indeed, that it's all quite calm and civilized here. Somebody's produced a bottle of brandy and is passing it round. And very quickly, you realize that these the merchants and the well-to-do of this thing have quickly got onto an idea that the best way out is to surrender someone to the witch hunter, and that if they give the witch hunter what he wants, so some occultist, then he might actually leave them alone. And so they've determined that they're going to each make the case for them to be saved. And as you arrive, Alric, you can see one of the merchants saying, "Oh, I sell warm clothing up and down the empire, and very important, my taxes pay for the maintenance of the river. I've got 3 fleets of boats from there." And then another merchant speaks up and says, "I've got 4 fleets of boats. I should be spared over Gunter. That's no good at all." And then another guy spoke and said, "Well, I'm a riverboat captain. I run my boat, but it's far higher quality than yours." And they seem to be doing this in a fairly civilized way, but you do notice that quite a few of the people are keeping their counsel and just sort of tallying and nodding or looking at each other whether they see. And certainly one of them is saying, "Well, it certainly wouldn't do to send any Reichlanders out there." And then all in the snug sort of turn their eyes almost guiltily towards you, Alric.
Alex sort of grabs a seat, sits down, puts his large axe, sort of notches it slightly in the table, notches it just in there, so it's just kind of there. Puts his book down and grabs the brandy, pours himself a glass, says, "Well, gentlemen, you see, now there is an interesting thing about witch hunters, and that is that they are they're scholars like myself. The training is quite interesting, and they certainly learn a lot about the history of the empire. And what is quite fascinating about a lot of mercantile trade across the empire is it's quite often horrendously corrupt, and has actually several merchant houses along the river have in fact been burnt down and people killed because they were in fact part of a cult. I'm sure none of you fine gentlemen are that, but I'm not entirely certain that the witch hunter outside, who, as I've said, is going to be well versed in such knowledge, will exactly believe anything you have to say. But
yeah,
I do like the general idea of if we can find the actual cultist in here, that's a good idea. But I wouldn't just throw your loft in with him, shall we say? And Alex like drunk like half the bottle of brandy during this while he's saying it.
Yeah, they're nodding and smiling along until the sort of their brain catches up with what they're hearing,
Yeah.
and then they begin to be looking at each other, and you can see all three of the riverboat captains that were talking are looking at each other and gesturing towards you as if maybe this person casting aspersions on the empire might be a good one to send there. Do you want to make a well, you could do leadership, or you could do charm to try and maybe convince them.
I'm bad at both of those things. It's kind of along the lines of charm, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nope, that was bad.
Yeah, they say they seem unhappy with that, and like, well, this is outrageous. We can't have people upsetting the status quo. That kind of talk won't do at all. Maybe you should go out in the maybe you should be the one that we send out if you're so well versed. If you're an ally of his, if you know what their training is, maybe they'll spare you, and you could be.
Oh, just know of them.
Throw you outside with the witch hunter, and you'll be fine with that.
Alex sort of puts his hand on his axe and like notches it out of the table and says, "I mean, I'd prefer not to, generally." Down to the brandy, but I'm sure I can help. I mean, I have some knowledge of cultist practices and that kind of thing from my time on the road, and some study into the weird and wonderful of the empire. So I'd happily help you hunt down whoever the cultists are here, of course.
I think that might be a good point. So, hunt the cultist. That sounds a good idea. That sounds like a good time for your stealth roll, Chris. As I think maybe you've had to creep further in, and you're maybe even. I'm sort of picturing you might even be under a table in the snug at this point.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm quivering a bit as well under this table.
Make us a stealth roll.
Oh dear.
Oh,
that was sleight of hand.
That's sleight of hand.
Oh, I'm gone.
Don't try and fool us.
Yeah.
I'm gone. Success.
Okay, yeah. I think there's a hiccup or a cough from under the table, and Alwick, you notice it. It's sort of jumping. I don't know if maybe Alwick, you realise that Leo's under the table, but nobody else does.
Yeah.
And they're able to, oh yeah, maybe we should find the cultist. Maybe we should find the cult. And they sort of stand up and make their way out of the snug gradually and start looking under all the other tables, not looking where they were. And Leo, you're able to stay sort of sat down there.
Oh, I like that their first idea to find the cultists is just to look under some tables. Maybe they're here.
It wouldn't have been a terrible idea if they'd used the right table, would it?
Nope.
So meanwhile, outside, the mob has begun to surge to escape. It looks to be quite a little bit. These 4 or 5 people, it looks as if they're going to get themselves in some danger if they move there. And there are certainly some bricks, and even like one of the flaming torches sort of flies and lands in the middle of the courtyard there.
That was not really the plan. What I wanted to do was play Hunt the Cultist, like they worked out inside.
Okay, well, we'll make your roll, but we'll let it ride that you've managed to influence them.
Okay.
So make your speech to them and see if we can get something there.
All right. Sermonizing out here isn't going to get us any favors at all. What we need to do is root out the things that the witch hunter wants and give it to him, even if, looking left and right, even if we just have to find someone who doesn't particularly want to volunteer. Am I right? And I look over to my companion, who's got the young lad, I think.
I'll be shaking in like going, "Are you a cultist? Are you the ringleader?" even though he's clearly not the lead.
I'm not a cultist. I'm not a cultist. Maybe he
Well,
is.
you would say that, wouldn't you?
Just what
I
a
think
cultist
we
would
need to
say.
start with some mandatory tattoo checks.
Excellent.
I
Excellent.
want him to get back inside the pub. Actually, to be honest, mate, that's what I want to do. Break up this religious zealotry meeting, which is going to be pointless, and everyone get back inside. We'll have a nice drink and let it all blow over.
Okay, you managed to calm them down a little bit to the point where they're coming back in, but there's still quite a bit of nonsense outside. And I think as you're making it, go on. Sorry, Gaz, you were about to interject.
To supplement what he's happening, can I try and intimidate the crowd? Like, there's this crowd that's stuck before. I'm going to try and get them out of the grounds of the pub at least. Like, they're just going to interfere and keep throwing a brick through windows if we let them stay there. So I'm just going to start shouting at them. So get away, we have till dawn. What are you going to do? Stand there out all night? I've done a solitary watch. Have you done it? Have you looked into the eyes of the forest? Have you seen the beastmen approach in the dark? What's that behind you? Did they come now? And I'll just generally try and put the willies amongst the crowd and get them to back off and stay around the fires.
Yeah, make the roll. Yeah, the little kids like really convinced.
That's what you would call a failure.
Okay, this sort of baying mob. I think that the advantage to your failure is that it makes the people around even more keen to get back into the pub, into the warmth. But in the course of this, just one final brick gets thrown, just as trying to make your way back in, and it hits what you hadn't really seen this before. There's a beehive, sort of atop the entrance to it, which has been calm and unworried so far, but at this brick flying through it, a swarm of bees now lands on the assembled sort of crowd near you. So would you guys, I mean, there's several people in the inn that are sort of just fleeing covered in stings into the inn, including the original, like the coachman, Sebastian. Could you guys just make me some sort of check to evade the bees? Athletics, dodge, endurance would all help. This is at +20 because they are they are bees.
I'm going to resist trying to climb out of the way.
Yeah.
I'm pretty athletic from my day in the military. Yeah, crit success. I bound ahead of the stripy hornets.
Bumbling failure as I trap through some honey.
Follow me.
Yeah, you slip on some honey that's been out to have with the bread, and you're going to take one wound. Just first damage done at the end. Yeah, you trip over and you're tripped up with Sebastian, the original coachman, who is now like you're both sort of covered in stings, and you're able to sort of get back in. There's a couple more people there that have got sort of stings all over them and looking in a bad way, but they're very keen to get back inside and sort of bar the door from there, and see where you are from within. Back in it's not in the snug. The rest of you were commencing a sort of search for the cultist, weren't you? Ian, you've influenced the crowd a little bit here.
Right.
And Leah, you're in a position where nobody really knows where you are. What sort of approach are you guys taking to try and find what might be going on here?
Sorry, go ahead.
Leah's got a plan. In her bag somewhere, she's got a crow. So she's going to pull the crow out of the bag. So how do I do that, Guy?
I mean, if you're a witch, you could cast a spell. The spell conjure small animal. How you do that is you make a language magic check, and you don't fumble it.
Okay,
because there's a witch hunter outside.
Otherwise, this could be a short session.
That's the cultist.
Critical success.
Nice.
Oh, wow. So
she mutters in a bag. She's got some ancient language, saying it backwards.
Yeah.
And the bag starts to do little.
Saying it backwards makes it sound a whole lot less evil.
Definitely.
Okay,
like famously.
So part one of your plan is enacted. You have a crow. What was part 2 or 3?
I'm going to ask this crow to land on Gunter's shoulder and pick him out in the crowd.
Oh, the original merchant, and pick him out.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I think I'll let the crow just do that. It'll just follow your bidding.
Yeah.
So yeah, everyone's sort of looking around for it and do it. And then yeah, there's a moment of silence as this crow sort of lands on his shoulder, and he just freezes like stock still. Doesn't know what to do with it here. Alric, you're witness to this. What?
Alec at once kind of doesn't know what to make of this and absolutely knows what to make of this at the same time. Like, not too sure what to do here because he's just like basically pointed a finger at a guy.
There's some muttering going on.
So Alric decides to go the sort of like blasé, doesn't quite understand what's going on route. Oh, nice pet. Yeah. What's his name?
Murder.
It's a crow. It's a crow, and all and the silence of this sort of accusation. I'm going to say the crow stays on his shoulder as this chaos of everyone piling in, pursued by bees, happens.
Yeah.
And very quickly, the people around are there, like trying to sort of get some brandy to put on them, put on their bee stings, and get settled with what they're doing. There's a little bit of so Leo, I'm going to turn to you really. What was your plan with the crow? Is he going to stay on this shoulder?
He's going to stay on the shoulder, and I'm going to start going amongst the crowd and saying, look at that. In my troll slaying experience, that's they expose themselves with familiars.
Fantastic. Would you like to make me? I mean, it could be gossip. This, I guess, that is a skill, isn't it? Do you want to make me a skill? I'm going to give you plus 20 to this because I like the crow. I think will help you here.
You would think so.
You think so? So it's my little voice, my little thin voice. They're ignoring me. They're just getting my message across.
They say, yeah, and in fact, somebody says there was no crow in here before. Somebody summoned that beast. There must be a witch in here. There must be a witch. Where is the witch?
No, not a witch. This is not the sign of a witch.
I mean, a bunch of people just came in and a bunch of bees as well. Do you not think that a crow maybe could have flown in here at the same time? Entirely possible, surely.
So the crow was in here before the bees, wasn't it? Yeah, it definitely was.
I think
I'm not sure
happened
it
at once,
was.
did it not? I'm just going to confuse the situation completely.
And sort of general chaos ensues. Before it sort of calms down a little bit, and this sort of more quiet sort of contemplation and search for the cultist can continue. Gunter is still looking not very happy about this crow that appears to be now following him round. I'm not sure what the duration of that spell is, Chris, but it lasts for a while, I think. It might be instant, so the animal just stays here. Eventually, it'll get distracted and fly off or bothered by bees. As this sort of calmness is going on, do you want to just all make me perception checks as you presumably continue the search for what's happening?
There they are. Hey, someone succeeded.
Find a point of luck.
Yeah, so Alric, Leah, and Yannick, you're distracted by the need to not look suspicious as you go through this. Max, though, as you've come in, you came in from the bees outside and are keeping an eye on the sort of the 5 or so people who are outside, and they all got stung pretty badly. The 2 that got stung the worst, really, were Yannick and Sebastian, the coachman. You noticed that, well, Yannick has sort of put, I'm presuming, I don't want to speak for you guys, has put some sort of unguents on his stings and is accepting them. Sebastian still has his shirt on, fully buttoned up, and he's trying to sort of he's itching a little bit, but he's trying to sort of shy away. He's not accepting some of the treatment that people are doing, trying to just avoid having to have that as he slinks off in one corner.
Well, I don't think I'm going to let him slink, to be honest. Yannick, did you notice? Did you see that? And I flashed my sort of secret signs at Yannick, our military ranger signs from when we were in the scouting division. I'm going to follow him to his shady corner. And again, for the second time today, I'm going to confront him. Hey, you there, coachman, wannabe Sigmarite priest. Have your prayers managed to save you from bee stings now, is it? You look like you must be itching under there. Maybe I can get you some unguents from behind the bar.
He says, "Oh no, it's not too bad actually. I've had worse. I've had worse on the road. As you can see, some of them begin to like pop out from it. I've had worse. Some unguent though, you say? Yeah, maybe
My
get
friend
some
Yannick
unguent.
here is a woodsman, a herbalist of some repute. You'll need to
Let me slap some of this on you. And I'm gonna like just manhandle his clothes, just like lift his shirt up to slap some unguent on him. Is the ruse I'm going with anyway.
Excellent. So I think he's going to stop you try and stop you manhandling him. So it's going to be it's going to be an opposed strength check. I'm going to just roll it as a D100 myself though, because I think you can have +10 from Max helping you as well.
Yeah, I'll put him in a half Nelson. Now, there's no point fighting. It's for your own good. And I wrench one arm up behind his back to help Yannick.
Oh yes, 4 levels of success.
Well, he's got -5 levels of success. So you, I think
so
very quickly his shirt is off, and you are able to vigorously apply the unguent to his arms, which is not unusual. What is unusual is that his arms appear to be covered in quite strange-looking tattoos, the likes of which you haven't seen before. They're not woodsman's tattoos, and they're not military tattoos either. Strange patterns in them.
Where's Alric? He'll know about this.
Yeah, I'll just kind of wander across with all this commotion. What, Yannick, Max? Why are you manhandling this man? What's going on?
And he's going, oh, leave me alone. Oh, that is nice though. Oh, that does soothe it though. Oh no, there's nothing there. And yeah, his arms are covered in these tattoos.
Alec grabs one of them, pulls his arm towards him, like practically pulls the guy over, staring at it, gets his like reading specs on.
Okay, I think you've got some sort of lore history.
Yes, I do. Yep.
I'll let you roll that and see if you can.
Have a look. I don't know about those, apparently.
I mean, these are not any sort of Sigmarite or Empire tattoos. They do seem to be the sort of prayer marks of some sort of faith, but it's not of any faith you've heard of, and you've heard of quite a lot of faiths around here. They're quite sort of squiggly.
Yeah. I'm not like sort of looking through a book or two, like still holding this guy's arm quite firmly. Yeah. What religion do you worship, young man?
Oh, it's just a Sigmarite branch that there's lots of different sects, aren't there?
It's not. Try again.
What dark god do you follow, man? Spit it out now, or we'll throw you to the witch hunter.
I pull his arm slightly harder in a slightly kind of painful way. So like, try again. Which religion do you worship?
Is it just a Sigmarite cult? It's not. And you can. It does indeed seem to be panicking genuinely. This guy. Are you doing this trying to do this surreptitiously, so as not to attract the attention of the other people in the inn?
I mean, Alec is trying to do this surreptitiously, but I would imagine he's failing quite badly. Yeah. Alec's found something out new to learn, so he's just like into it.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna be tugging at the guy's trousers, going, "You can tell they're gonna get branding on the buttocks." I'll shout with great knowledge. That's how you can tell a cultist. Tugging at his trousers.
Okay.
The buttock test. Let's do it.
Okay, this is attracting some attention. Leah, if you're over there, you might have a skill that might be able to recognise these. Actually, put the finger on this guy. If that's not going to make yourself seem guilty as well.
Well, I think Lee's going to the smell of bergamot from the unguent attracts her over, and she can hear this altercation, and she's going to scowl at him with her full pointed teeth and say, tell us, what do you belong to? An intimidation check, and I get an extra success level.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, roll that. See if you can.
So scowl in his face. Here goes. Oh,
Oof.
maybe the troll slayer disguise was just a little bit too effective.
Two on the nose.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you'll never take. But there's a bit of a commotion now, and I think the one of the Helgas has arrived, the guards, and says, "Is this man one of them? Have we found the cultist?"
Now, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Maybe.
He says, "Well,
yeah.
we can lock him upstairs if you want."
There's a man over there with a crow on his shoulder.
Aye, but there's more than one cultist. It's not a cult if it's just you, it's a conspiracy. So there's going to be more than one of them. Crow Guy could be the leader, and this man is yet to explain his exotic fell god tattoos.
They're not. They're nothing from the Fell God. I mean, what do you think they're from the Fell God? That's only a cultist.
Either
would
that or
recognise
something
that.
worse, like a Bretonian.
Just explain them and everything will be fine.
They're just tattoos. They don't mean anything. And at this, Helga is like, I think we should lock him up just to be safe. Round at the rest of him. Maybe the rest will come out once he's
Very well.
locked up.
Yeah, him and Crow Shoulder definitely need locking up. So.
Old Crow Shoulder.
Okay, so that happens. So Sebastian and Gunter are now locked up as suspected cultists. Okay.
Good.
Cool.
And you can see that it's got a little bit more peaceful now. But there's still quite a lot of people looking to one another. And some people, because you seem to be the sort of protagonists of this, there's even some people sort of approaching you and trying to finger other people. For the most sort of, one merchant is saying, oh, Hansel, the porter, comes up to you, Yannick, and says, he bundled into me earlier as well. He's clearly got a secret agenda. No man can be that clumsy without being a cultist. And offering all kinds of sort of reasons why their fellow people in here could be cultists.
Right. Well, I think what we're going to do, I think it's what the dwarves call taps off, is what we're going to be doing. So anyone who's coming up with these things, we're going to be getting the tops off and checking for weird tattoos.
Can you please not insult my dwarven traditions? I agree it's a good idea. Just watch the line, okay?
Ulrich, a quick word if you don't mind.
Yes.
This fella that we've just had, this Patsy we've just served up to the Witchfinders, he was a coachman. I wonder if his passengers are still around abouts, looking to the left and right. Maybe there was some kind of manifest in the signing in book to get into the.
Well, I was just going to go and check that. I was just wondering, like, how when this witch hunter turned up, like, who's been here the longest? People who've been here the longest, maybe less likely to be the cultist, that kind of thing. Narrow it down a little bit.
Oh, and Ulrich, just one more thing. Just want to check. It's not you, is it?
No.
Okay, me either.
How long have we known each other? Yeah. And your friend is insulting my traditions as well.
Good. Still
Alex storms off to look at the talk to the sort of innkeeper and like look at his like sort of guest book effectively, like who's here, who signed in, that kind of thing, if such a thing exists.
Excellent. So we've got a few things going on. We've got an attempt to institute taps off to check people for tattoos. We've got 2 suspected cultists already locked up upstairs. And we've got some research to see if any other people in the inn may be cultists. You hear there's more shouting and baying from the mob outside, though, that you can hear, as if maybe there's going to be an announcement made soon. And on that cliffhanger, I think we'll go and take a short break. So it'll just be a few seconds for you at home. Remember to maybe use that time to click like and subscribe for the channel. And then you won't miss any of our future recordings. But we'll take 10 minutes and we'll see you back in a bit. Welcome back. We've got a successful evening so far. 2 cultists locked up and relative calm returned. Well, two suspected cultists locked up. The evidence on one of them is not really confirmatory, and the evidence on another one of them is largely falsified by one of our players. Yeah, speculative. The inn has returned to some level of calm. Can I check in with you guys now? What's your level of... There's some discussion about whether they should just throw those 2 out to the witch hunter, like just go and present them and see if that leads to them being spared or not, because they found some cultists already. What do you think? As they say, you become sort of the protagonists in this situation, so they're looking to you for some guidance here.
Alex very much in favor of not throwing innocent people to a baying mob led by basically a psychotic dictator, because that's kind of how he sees witch hunters, basically, historically.
Bleeding art dwarves.
he feels like maybe that's not quite the best way to deal with it. It's just like, go that person and then throw them to the mob.
Yeah. I'm not saying that's... I mean, that with the crow, that is literally what you've done as well, isn't it?
Yannick's view is that we can't manage everyone, so what we're going to do is we're going to get a room full of suspects, and then what in another world might be Poirot or some other kind of thing, we're going to have a room full of people and a smoking gun, and then from there we'll single out who it is we think are the cultists, possibly. But like this is a 2-stage process, whereby the first stage is locking anyone up who looks shifty, and then we'll go from there. But yeah,
it's a system of justice that served this empire well for thousands of years.
all right, yeah. We're in charge of it.
Is Yannick going to lock himself up then?
Lee's got
really
an idea. And stick with this. It's a bit of a disruptor's idea. But why don't we turn the tables? Who watches the watchmen? Who watches the witch hunters? I think we should banish witch hunters. Maybe he is the one that we should put an end to.
That's an interesting idea, but there are less of us than there are of him. And he's got them whipped up. I like it.
Like powder weapons and a mob.
And anger. A lot of anger.
Yeah, no, we all want to stop the ruinous powers, though. I mean,
yes, agreed.
How would you feel, Bluebell, if there's a witch in here, for example? You'd want them rooted out, wouldn't you, straight away?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Hang them high.
So we need witch hunters for that, you see. So I don't think we can get rid of them just yet. Maybe we can focus on political reform at a later date. But just for this evening, maybe we should concentrate on finding the cultists.
Yeah, let's be pragmatic. It's us or them, frankly, at this point. That witch hunter wants some blood. He's not going away with nothing. So if they're going to have to pick, why don't we do the picking?
I agree. Just let's try and pick the right people.
Of course, we'll try to. Yeah, I think there's no harm in having aspirational goals. I think that's entirely reasonable.
Fair enough, yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. And as this discussion is going on, it's pretty calm down your side of the inn. But it's worth pointing out that the beer has continued to flow. The Prancing Pegasus bar staff are still quite busy. They're hoping that by continuing to serve, I mean, and actually there's an idea this whole place could be burnt down tonight. So some people seem to have taken it on themselves and not wishing to cast aspersions on them. One particular chap is the other dwarf in the inn. Alric, you maybe have encountered him before or nodded as you do. He's sat at the bar recounting tales of his ancestor. He's been doing that all evening. And he's talking about his ancestor who was an adventured alongside a Reichland lord. And you hear a bit of a shout from over there as one of the other men says, "Oh, Rudolf Leipzig, yes, he was my ancestor." And the dwarf shouts, "Your ancestors say, well, he's in my book of grudges.
Oh no.
He double-crossed us by the end of it." And this dwarf launches at this man, throws him into a table, beer and everything spilling, and then some of the heavier drinking guests that have been there step back. One of them breaks a stool over his leg and begins to pile in at the sight of a good old barroom brawl. I think probably Alric, you'll have listened to you might be the first to react here, as you've been maybe keeping an eye out on Ludi.
Yep.
Are you piling in? Are you trying to calm things down? They don't look like they'll be calmed down with just kind words at the moment.
No.
You've been in this sort of situation before.
I'll pile in on the dwarf side initially and sort of like try to bring things to, well, knock some heads together basically and get people straightened up.
Okay, so in terms of piling,
throw down my bag of books, pick up a broken bit of chair that's flown by.
Okay, so yeah, an improvised weapon.
I think the axe is maybe a bit much for a barroom brawl.
Yeah. So improvised weapons do your strength bonus +1 damage, and armor points are doubled against them. But nobody apart from Max is wearing any armor, so you should be okay. Do you want to roll an attack on? Presumably, you can wade in on Harold, the grudge man. This is going to be opposed by his weapon skill.
What is this, melee basic? Or
yeah, if you roll a melee basic, that's your best.
Melee basic, yep. Cool.
Ooh.
Hey, I succeed real good.
Yeah, he's got 0 levels of success, although he hasn't made it. But you've got 4. So if you take your strength bonus, add 1 to it, and then add 4 to it, that is how much damage did we do?
Where's that?
It'll be your...
Sorry, strength bonus is 3, so 7. You say add the success levels as well, yeah?
Yeah. So, you pick up a tankard or something and slap Harold about the face and send him sprawling towards there. We're not going to roll initiative. We'll just sort of go around and see who's going on. So maybe Leah, you're the next person around. There's several humans involved and this one dwarf, but the dwarf seems to be, well, 2 dwarves now, sorry. The dwarves seem to be holding their own pretty well, though. What's your action to get involved in this?
Obviously, Ulrich is a friend and companion, so I want to get out a mirror and dazzle Harold. So catch the light so that he's temporarily blinded. So is that another language roll?
Yeah, to do that sort of non-magical thing, you'd roll a language magic test.
I have actually. Yeah, yeah. It's definitely not magic. It's just a trick of the light.
Yeah.
Magic light, yeah.
Yeah. That's a failure.
Yeah, I think there's
significant failure.
I think there's sort of well, you didn't fumble. That's the important thing. I think there is a dazzling of light around, and several people are sort of looking this way and that. It does interfere a little bit with the brawl, but certainly not with Harold. And I think you, Leah, end up stumbling into all the tables yourself, and maybe getting a little bit involved in this, as you're temporarily a little bit blinded by it, but not. You don't have the condition, I think you're just a little bit confused by it. What's Max up to here?
Max is going to keep his powder dry, I think. I don't have a dog in this fight. I've got a dwarf in this fight. So, no, I'm just going to take a step back. And again, much like the very first thing we did tonight, I'm just going to keep an eye on the people around the outside. Who's taking more notice of this than they should be? Who's using this opportunity to pull some sleight of hand? Who's doing something they shouldn't be while all attention's on this? I fear a distraction.
Okay, I'm going to come back to you for a perception check after
Gaz
and Harold have been. So what about Yannick? What are you up to?
Yannick's suspicious of people who aren't drinking. So the ones that are trying to stay sober and keep the wits about them. So he's going to be shaking down some people who seem studiously sober, like under the guise of going to make them play Brandy Bows with some empty glasses and a bottle of brandy. If they're still refusing, then he's going to try and browbeat some information out or make them sweat or get them to give something away.
Okay, do you want to make a charm roll?
No, I want to make an intimidate roll, please.
Okay, go. Please yourself. Go for that.
I mean, it's not going to make much difference, but it's
Yeah.
a few percentile points.
Yeah.
Oh, this it does make a difference. Much better.
Yeah, they gingerly agree to your game of brandy bounce. And in fact, one of them says, oh, I was in the stables earlier and one of the horses looked very, very strange. All the other horses were shying away from it. And the others sort of look at him as if this isn't a story that he's made up just to get you off. Obviously, that's the others are like, oh yeah, there was that weird horse with the funny eye. Actually, one of them says, I'm sure it had a forked tongue. The other one, no, I can't have a forked tongue. What, like a snake? That's ridiculous. That'd be some kind of mutant. And they look at each other as there's a moment of silence before there's a splash of a beer tankard smashing into someone from the other side. Harold is going to try and hit you, actually, Alric. So you can roll dodge or you can roll weapon skill. It's up to you. This is going to be opposed.
Let me check what's best here. I'm going to roll weapon skill. So just melee basic again, yeah?
Yeah, you can just roll
Cool.
that.
Oh, that's not great. Oh, fumbling failure.
Yeah, it is a fumble. I mean, luckily you have only you haven't failed enough to be hit because he got -3 success levels.
Right.
I will just if there's a fumble table, you do have to use it in combat, don't you? That's
Absolutely.
where we are with it.
That's the law.
So
That's
do I
Warhammer way.
just roll me a D100?
Yeah, sure.
And we'll see.
74.
Oh, that is.
Oh dear.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. The ups table. Oh wait, no, 10 higher and you would have injured yourself. Yeah, no, you mishandle your weapon or drop your ammunition, miss your next action. So
Okay.
I think the grip that you have on this tankard slips and it just flies as you try and parry his blow. You do manage to catch it, but it flies out of your hand, drenching somebody nearby in beer, possibly Leah and some of her fellows. So the brawl is raging on. Ben, do you want to make me that perception check for Matt?
Sure, it's time to perceive. Let's see.
I'll even let you have +10 because
Really?
yeah, because you're sticking out of this fight.
Crikey. Oops. There we go. That's 10. Oh, that's a success.
Fantastic. You don't notice much unusual about the people around you, although you do notice that one of the doors seems to be ajar, as if it's possible somebody's maybe snuck out. But you do notice as Harold is swinging, there's a sort of strange little growth on his back. You could swear it was like an eyeball that's come out as he's swinging to get this dwarf. How do you react to that? His shirt's all out and ruffled, and you're sure you saw it before with your own eyes there.
Well, I'm obviously going to keep this on the down low, so I'm going to yell at the top of my lungs. He's got an eyeball sticking out of his flesh. Just on it. Look, it's winking at me.
It is indeed winking at you. And I think that's the intervention that brings this barroom brawl to a quick conclusion. As all the humans that were fighting the dwarf, suddenly everyone's concentrated on Harold. And he's sort of pinned down. They rip his shirt up, and he does indeed have a blinking eyeball coming out of his back.
Nice.
And he's like, "You'll never take me alive. You'll never take me alive." And Helga is saying here, "Lock him up with the other one." Is that what we do?
Well, he's actually like a cultist, right? Can we not just like? I mean, in this case, I'm definitely in favour of throwing him outside because he's definitely a cultist, or at least a mutant.
I'm willing to workshop it and maybe go for a process improvement on this one. That if we find a definite mutant, then we can skip stage 2 and just throw them straight out to the bane mob.
Alex, writing this down. Skip stage 2 if definitely mutant. Cool, got it. Great.
You could maybe give up the other ones. They won't come alone. Maybe he could sell out the other ones for his own skin.
I mean, that's
right.
true.
We should hold his feet to the fire, I'll say, and I'll start dragging his feet towards the fire.
Towards the fire,
And
yeah.
an axe to his neck.
Yeah.
Ah,
As this, go on,
Is
Liam.
this what they call witch hunting? I have no experience of this. I will learn from it.
That's
like
what
a-
a witch looks like. Ah, I see.
It's all like, you'll never take me alive. You'll never take me alive. It's not. It's not me. I haven't got the amulet. It's not even that. That's what he's after. Can you all make perception checks for me?
No, I cannot. I mean, I can, but also no.
This would be great if nobody makes it, as always.
Oh, not today.
We see
And I'd still had that +10 carried over, but no.
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 Brilliant. It's not. It's the amulet they're after. It's the amulet.
Well,
I
he's
think-
got the amulet then.
Well, Harold had it last. Oh no, he's Harold. Sebastian had it
You're
last.
Harold.
Sebastian had it last. I don't know if him or Maria have got it. That's what they're after.
Maria, who's Maria?
Yeah, that's a new name, isn't it, to us?
Yeah.
As I say, looking around at all the hirsute faces.
Well, let's get him.
Are
and
there any
Sebast-
women here?
No.
Let's get him and Sebastian in 2 separate rooms and do some interrogation.
Okay,
Good cop,
well,
bad cop.
Well, as you do that, you notice there is quite a commotion outside. And as you rush to the window, you can see that actually there's on the sort of on the roof, there are some figures sort of moving around. And there's a woman who was in the bar earlier, and a smashed window of the room where Gunter and Sebastian were held. And I mean, Gunter's still in the room in an attempt to prove his innocence, but Sebastian is out on the roof as well, and some chanting has begun from outside. At this point as well, as you're sort of rushing into this sort of chaos, there's a big sort of surge forward of the mob as Malta is like, no, calm, see what is happening. They move towards us. We'll get them. And there's a huge sort of commotion in the stables where some coaches are being and a bear, clearly maybe being transported to outdoor zoo or something, jumps out. Horses are running everywhere, and this general chaos and commotion is going on. Yannick, what's your first reaction? Well, what does anyone do? Let's just all decide what your action is now.
Okay, so the two of our suspects are like on the roof of the pub.
Yeah.
Right. And the other one's by our feet. Okay.
I'm going heading for the roof. That seems like where I should be.
Right behind you, brother. Unlimber my sword and give hot pursuit roofwards.
Okay, Alric and Leah, what are you up to?
Alec's gonna lock up this one. And get like one of the Helgas to stand outside the door of like one of the private suites upstairs or wherever, or one of the private rooms that's upstairs. And then he's going to go to the roof as well. But he's going to secure this one first.
Okay, yeah.
In fact, he's going to ask one of the Helgas to stand outside the door and the other Helga to maybe stand inside the room in case they try and like break them out or something of that ilk.
Cool, yeah. And Leah, what are you doing, Chris?
Every single game of Warhammer I've played, I've ended up on the roof, and
That's
this is
true.
not going to be any different. So Leah is going to end up on the slates, balancing on the vaulted areas and the flying buttresses. Start swinging my way, following these things.
Okay, so you rush up to the roof. You can see there's a sizable pyre built by the witch hunter in the time that you've been inside that is indeed burning, and he's shouting up, saying, "I'll come and get you!" And he's almost looking to get a shot at them, but he stops when he sees you guys pursuing them, and says, take them, foul cultists, take them down." And he sort of gestures to his man who brings him some gloves as he begins to sort of climb up to try and get it. Meanwhile, the cultists, you can see, Sebastian does indeed have an amulet now, and Maria, and they are chanting some very strange mystical words, which there's a sort of multicolored swirl in the air that's assembling. And just as you race up and see it, you see it assemble to a sort of flat disc about 6 feet across that's sort of floating in the air. It's lurid blue and pink, and they seem about to climb on it, but at the sight of you, this disc flies towards you to try and deal with the 4 of you first. Could you all please roll initiative? We will do it this way now.
Crikey.
Terrifying.
Where do I do that on this character sheet, guy?
There's an initiative.
Just
there.
underneath
Oh,
your characteristics
yeah.
above your skills.
Thank you. Got it.
Oh, crikey.
Okay, let me just work out what this how this works. Oh, sorry, this is not worked. Okay, so just looking at how we are, it looks like the disc is going first, which isn't surprising given
Yeah, it's quick.
how it is. Then Leah, then the cultists. There are only 2 of them that are going to do anything because you've got one tied up. Then Yannick, then Max, and finally Alaric, which sort of fits with the narrative because you were tying that guy up. So
Yep,
that's where we are. So this disc is going to fly towards you. I think there are sort of 3 of you that it can target first. So we'll go with Leah, Max, Yannick as 1, 2, 3. To be fair, Leah, it looks like you've got the attentions of this disc of Zinch. As it flies on. Of course, this is when my computer goes very slow. Classic roll 20. So it's going to fly towards you and attempt to slice you. It pivots to one side and races towards you to try and knock you off the roof. So you can defend against this with weapon skill, or you can defend against this with dodge.
I'm going to try and dodge and get to the other side of the roof so the witch finder can't see whatever response I'm going to do afterwards. So I'm going to dodge
Wise.
onto the other side.
Yeah. Cool. Okay.
Other side of the apex of the roof.
Right,
Oh,
okay,
I
well.
fail.
But you're all right, actually, I think.
Yeah, this fails more.
The disc fails more. So, yeah, you definitely leap out of the way. It's quite easy to dodge it when it's going like so. If it was flat, you would have had to leap quite some distance. But you managed to evade it and maybe, get to the other side of the pitched roof, see the far side of the witch hunter as the disc flies away from you. Leah, you get to act now. What are you going to do?
I'm going to speak the magic of well, no, it's not magic. It's just a trick I learned off a traveling mountebank where I can fire darts from my fingers.
Nice trick.
Sounds legit.
Toad's not
Throwing
magic, though.
knives. Yeah, it's just throwing knives. That's what it is.
Oh, a chip explodes.
It's now a good time to talk to you about the fortune rules. We could have done it at the start, but let's do it now. You can spend a point of fortune to re-roll a failed test, or indeed to get an extra success level after rolling. If you're into that, you can always do that.
You're into that cheating.
Yeah.
I won't at this stage. I might save it for a defensive maneuver later.
Wise. So yeah, your disc. I think your disc almost gets swallowed up by this chaos beast, and it with little effect, almost as if it wasn't even there. Your dart, which is probably a good thing based on the witch hunter being around. The cultists are going to go next. So Maria is going to rush towards Yannick and attempt to stab you.
Well, it's unseemly.
Well, we'll see.
I'm going to try and dodge back out of the way.
Go for it.
With a critical success.
Yeah, you do indeed evade that stab. And Sebastian is going to go for Max. So again,
Very well.
same thing. Roll your defense.
Now I've got my sword out as previously established, so
Yeah.
I can. Is it basically a parry? I have a parry skill. Is that a thing?
You just roll your weapon. You don't need to parry. You just roll your weapon skill. Sorry, no, roll your melee basic or whatever.
Melee basic is better than parry. So
Not weapon skill. The skill of your weapon, because that makes sense. Yeah.
Hashtag naming conventions.
Yeah.
I've got 5 levels of success. Wow.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah, you easily parry that blow. Yannick, you're up next.
Well, having dodged back behind a chimney stack, I'll then whip out my short bow and try and plunge an arrow into this floating disc.
Fantastic. That's not an opposed check. That's just a attempt to
ranged bows.
Yeah, it says.
But I fail. How many fortune points have I got? Oh, I've got loads. I'm going to spend a fortune point just to see if the wind blows the arrow in the right direction.
Yeah.
But it does not.
It does not, no. Blows it in the wrong direction. So
and somehow it lands next to my first arrow that I fired some hours ago.
yeah.
Right next to it.
Right on top of which end the ducks as it nearly takes his hat off. Finally. Max, you're up next.
Okay. Sebastian, I knew you were wrong and the first time I heard you utter those fake prayers. Let me show you Sigmar's steel in your guts. And I'm going to run him through with my military sword.
Excellent. He's going to try and dodge out of the way.
They're much better than civilian swords.
He will not succeed.
Oh, sorry, that's the wrong thing. I've rolled the wrong thing.
Critical success, baby.
I mean, I'm going to roll my dodge, but it's not looking good, is it, for him?
I've turned out to have a competent character in Warhammer. What's going on?
You have. Luckily, I don't know. So you critted, but you got more success levels. I think that still hits, though, because you got a critical.
Crit beat success. Got to, hasn't it?
So go ahead and... So you'll do 1 plus your damage that you've got on there.
Oh, right. Okay. So now that's further down. So 1 plus my damage. That's going to be 8 then, isn't it? Damage 7 normally for this sword.
Yeah. So you do that, and then you can also roll a critical. You're going to be at minus 20. You've hit him. You didn't roll. What is it? 55 is, I think, the body. So yeah, roll me a D100, and we'll take 20 off it and see what his crit is.
46.
That's 26. Oh, so he suffers a torn muscle injury. Terrible. Right. So
take that. Get some deep heat.
Yeah, he's going to struggle to run away from that as his move is affected. As you fetch him a blow, he's bruised by that, and he's limping now as he comes around from that. And finally, coming up from and you've got 1 advantage as well because you won an opposed check.
Oh yeah.
So
get a virtual poker chip and stack it up.
the up in arms advantage rules means that we only have like ally and adversary advantage. So at the moment you've just got 1 advantage. You can spend 2 advantage to give yourself 2 plus 10 on an attack.
Yep.
And you can spend 4 advantage to get an extra go. Just have another action. You can spend 3 for plus 20, 4 for plus 40. You can also, if you want to roll a skill instead of your attack, if you are successful, you get an extra 2 advantage for your team, if you see what I mean. But you've got 1 at the moment. So finally, Alric, you race up onto the roof, having secured the 3rd cultist.
So I sort of pop up onto the roof and see Sebastian stumbling towards me, and he's still got the amulet, yeah.
He has, yeah. He's still got the amulet.
Yeah, so I'm just going to go at him. I see him reeling from the blow that Max has given him, and I'm just going to hit him with my axe.
Excellent. He's going to try and dodge.
So just melee basic is it rolling? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can roll the axe attack as well if you want. It's up to you. That'll give you the damage as well.
Cool. I will do.
Not looking good for
Do I
him.
want to re-roll that? Yeah.
Well,
let's re-roll
you've still hit him, to be
Oh,
fair.
yeah.
Because
Okay.
he's got
Oh, 'cause, yeah, 'cause
minus
he's-
5 success levels and you've got -2. So
Okay, cool.
you would do 3 plus 7, that's 10. So that's actually going to put him into, yeah. Would you like to roll a normal 100 for a D100 for a body critical hit? And we'll
would.
work out what happens there. You've also got 2 advantage now, you guys. He's also got bruised ribs.
That's all right.
You've
Bopped him in the
also,
head.
yeah, you've also knocked him to 0 wounds. So he falls flat on the ground now and is like stumbling around, trying to get up. He's sort of taken out for now, Sebastian. But Maria and the disc are still working on it, and you can see Maria is making to sort of climb on top of the disc to try and escape. Back to the top of the round, the witch hunter is sort of halfway up, climbing onto the roof. The disc is going to fly at you again, Leah, as a last ditch attempt to take somebody with it, as if it recognizes its own somehow. So, Chris, do you want to dodge or, well, you
Yeah,
can
so
weapons go on the way.
it comes towards me. I'm going to try and dive again between 2 chimney stacks. And I fail. Oh, that's a bad fail as well.
That's okay, yeah. So you're going to be taking 16 points of damage from that. You do get to take your toughness bonus off that.
So can I use my fortune roll to see whether?
Yeah, you can dodge better. Yeah.
Yeah, dodge better. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to do that. Here it goes. Let's see if fate will come on my side. No, it's a fumbling failure on this occasion.
Yeah, you're gonna take slightly less. You're gonna take 13 points of damage. So take your toughness bonus off that, which is the tens digit of your toughness score. I don't think you've got any armor. And apply that to your wounds. So if you get any wounds left,
where are my wounds?
it'll be below your stats, but above your below your characteristics, but above your skills. It'll say there'll be a maximum and a current.
Yeah. So I've got a toughness bonus of 8. So that takes
it'll be 4. No. I think that's 4, toughness times 2. So you take 4 off. So that's 9. The number on the far right of your wounds is how many you've got in total, and it's probably more than 9.
Yeah, it is. I'm going to find it. Oh, can't find it.
So if you go to initiative and go to the right.
Yeah, initiative, yeah.
The far right where it says maximum will be your total wounds.
Right, that's it. Okay. So I've got 5 left.
Right, yeah. So you are sent spinning by this disc. Maybe slide down the tiles and have to pick yourself up from the gutter as this disc like spins back, ready for Maria to get on it and do it. But it is your go now, and you don't suffer any ill effects from that apart from the.
Okay, so I'm going to use these light darts that I've learned how to do and fire them at Maria. That's a success.
Nice.
Okay, so you do that 3 plus your willpower bonus. So your willpower bonus again, it'll be WP, and your characteristics, it'll be your tens digit.
4. It's 4.
Okay, so 7 damage. Maria, we'll take a toughness bonus off that. Yeah, so these darts, Blanchett, she shouts out, What? A wizard! There's a wizard! Join us! You'll be safe. Come on, she's climbing on top of this disc. She's like, come, you'll be safe with us. and she's on top of the disc, and it's making to sort of fly away. That's her action, is to get on board of it, to try and get away. In fact, yeah, she's going to try and disengage with that. So Yannick, you're up next.
Yeah, I've decided the disc is too fast and small, but however, a shouting, gesticulating woman on top of it's a much easier target, so I'm going to go for that. And maybe if I miss her, I'll hit the disc anyway. So that's what I'm going for.
Fantastic. She's going to try. Oh well, no, it's not posed, is it? You just get to roll.
Yeah. Jesus, Mary, Joseph, and the wee donkey. I'm going to spend another fortune point to see whether the disc's tumultuous journey takes her into the arrow accidentally.
Oh, sorry, using your sword. Is that? I hadn't...
So I pressed the wrong button.
Yeah. Yeah. Roll you both first, and then see if you need a fortune point for it.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Just try to cancel it while the dialogue box was up, which wasn't working. There we go. Okay, so success actually.
So
3 success levels, 9 damage to the left arm.
9 damage. Okay, she's still up, but your arrow is in her and blood is coming out of her. It's like, no, I'll go. She's trying to get the disc is sort of moving around, as if it's trying to have another go at Leah, as if it might actually be able to finish you off or take you away, maybe to join the rest of the cult. But she's sort of trying to get it to flee. Max,
Leah, get behind me, as I'm going to push my way between our wizard and their wizard, and slash at the fangs of this giant purple manta ray.
Fantastic. He's going to try and dodge out of the way.
So give you my little soundtrack there. You're welcome.
That's lovely.
So that's your ringtone.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. There's a success.
Yeah. So 11 damage. Was this on? This is on the disc, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So the disc, which sadly hasn't taken any damage yet. So yeah, you carve off weird chunks of the warp from it, and these weird sort of eldritch goop sprays up against you. We'll make that corruption check later.
Looking forward to it.
It's you on there. But the disc is still sort of tottering as if it's going to run away here. Alric, it's you up now.
Alric's close enough to this to take a swipe at it as well, I think.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, it's going to dodge.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean it's a big brown disc. He's going to like lay his axe into it.
Yeah.
Yes. 9 damage.
Wow, yeah, that is. It's 8 damage, actually, I think, because it's it got 1 success.
Yeah. Oh yes, sir. Difference.
Ah, the difference. Yeah, of course.
Okay, yeah. Again, big fluorescent pink goop sprays out onto your face as you do it, but you carve a chunk off of it from there, and you're able to continue. Back to the top of the round. The Witch Hunter is just sort of dusting himself out, and he's like, "Well, stop them! They're getting away."
We're trying to.
Yeah.
What do you think we're doing?
In one final gesture, the disc flies at you, Leah. It's going to actually attempt. The way we'll do this is going to attempt to try and get you on top of it, if it's successful. And so, yeah.
What does that look like? So let's scoop it up like a spatula.
Yeah. Your advantage is at 4, by the way, guys. Now because you've had.
Oh yeah.
2 more successes. You don't get it for bow combat, unfortunately, Yannick. So yeah, Chris, do you want to roll dodge or some way of getting out of the way?
No, I'm not going to roll dodge. I'm going to roll athletics and jump on it.
Lovely.
She's joined their side.
She's a witch.
So I mean, it's trying to get you onto it. I think how we'll pass that is that you're sort of on the edge of it, scrambling on, digging your fingers into this weird chaos goop, as it's sort of pitched on one side, and Maria's like struggling to stay up from there as it begins to rise up off the ground to take you away.
My action, isn't it?
Now, there, yeah.
I think the action I'm going to get stay grabbed on, and I'm going to talk backwards and summon my crow to knock Maria off.
Aha, very good. Yeah.
Okay.
Go for that.
Nice.
Make the language magic check.
Okay, so I'll call it in crow language. Will it come? Will it come? It's befriended Gunter. He's feeding it on his shoulder. Doesn't hear the call.
I think it flies off, but it doesn't come there. But just from the window down, you see this. Like, I told you I was innocent. The crow's gone. I was innocent. I was innocent. And like a volley of bricks fly towards it from the mob. Just looking at someone that can target from there. Fantastic. Maria is going to go now. She's going to just concentrate on trying to get out of the way. In fact, I think what she's going to do is she's going to try and grab you, Leah, and pull you away from it. So she's going to try sort of grapple on you. Let's engage with these rules, shall we? So you need to make a strength test for me. Okay. So if you go up to your stats, you'll have a strength characteristic you can roll. I'm going to make an opposed strength check.
-3.
Yeah, so you are going to. Oh yeah, it's not going to inflict damage, but she's got you in an arm lock, and the disc rights itself, and you can tell that she's going to fly off next round if she isn't stopped from here. Yannick.
Well, stop her I shall, unless the dice gods betray me as usual.
Fantastic. You can get +20 to hit because she is grappling somebody at the moment.
Sounds like a curse, but I'll take it anyway. So I pull out my favourite arrow that's got crow feathers as the flight's taken from a magical bird that seems to hang around us for some reason. Oh my word. Yeah, it's 30 point time. Fortune point, I should say.
Fortune point time. Might be fate point time later. We don't know.
Advantage.
Yeah.
Right?
So.
There we go. That's much better. 10 damage.
10 damage.
The right leg.
Is this on Maria or the disc?
Maria.
10 damage on the right leg. That's 7. That's 4. Right. Would you like to roll me an unmodified right leg critical wound?
The D100, I presume.
Yes.
35.
Thigh strike. Yeah, she is bleeding, so blood spurts out onto the disc. She also takes a prone condition, which I think is going to mean that she falls off the disc
Nice.
onto the roof, maybe taking you with her, Leah, as the disc makes to sort of fly off from here, and she is just sliding down the roof, about to fall onto the pyre that has been built there. Max, you're up next. The disc is still there, but it looks as if it's going to try and rescue her.
I'll take up a defensive stance and try and wipe the goo off of myself with the back of my gloved hand. I'll let the disc do what the disc is going to do.
Excellent. And finally, Alric.
Is Leia still being grabbed onto the disc? She's
on the roof tiles now.
She's sliding away from us.
I was hoping she was going to stop on the disc like an out of control car, but
have to grab onto her and then it flies away with a dwarf attached.
I mean, to be fair, it's up to you, Chris. If you want to stay on the disc, that can work.
No, I'm going to slip down and hide from the witch hunter. I think I'm just going to find the nearest chimney to hide behind.
Fantastic.
And Marie's still on the disc, is she?
No, she's fallen off it. She's sliding down the roof now.
Right, I'm just going to grab her and like basically put an axe to her throat. Basically, stick her under arrest. Effectively, I'm going to grab her.
Yeah, she's gurgling and happy and cursing and still saying foul magics. And at that, it's the end of the round. The witch hunter then appears, and with an incantation, the disc flies away, and you have some cultists to deal with. So, just how does this go down? You found, well, depending on how we go for it, 3 or 4 cultists. Malthus is very keen that you demonstrate what you've done. What case do you make to him of how these are definitely cultists, all 3, or possibly 4 of them? I'm not going to assume that Gunter is going to be spared.
I was going to look at the disc that's flying away, look at Marie who's just like fallen off it, look at the witch hunter and go, I don't know what more you want from me. She was on that. She summoned it.
And Harold's like looking out the back of his head at him. So that's kind of
Yeah.
like Harold's doing.
And Sebastian had this thing around his neck.
Yeah. But I think Gunter's cleared himself by obviously the crow flew away. So it was clear that once the magic started, he wasn't a cultist. As the
Gunter was a
crow
honey
abandoned him.
trap.
The crow
Yeah,
might be a
that's-
cultist.
The crow's a cultist, definitely. We should, yeah.
Yeah, and on that moment,
a
or a
shape
demon.
changing.
Yeah. And on that, indeed, you are. Malthus says you are brave. You've identified the evil that lurks within. Maybe we do not need to burn the inn down tonight. And the mob sort of look a bit dejected and back off. But there's much celebration in the inn. The pyre's going to keep burning for the rest of the night. But there is now going to be some celebration as you have successfully managed to deal with the lock-in that you found from there. Just to finish off the session, let's just go around one at a time and just have a little scene of you celebrating into the wee small hours of the inn, as everyone there is very keen to toast you for having saved their lives, especially Gunter, who has nothing to pin the crow onto you guys and thinks indeed you've cleared his name. Let's go in the order we started. So, Gaz, what's Yannick doing?
Yannick has ready the pantry for some lips and schnaut sausages, and he's making good use of the pyres to get a good barbecue going. And he's teaching the locals how to play brandy bounce at the same time with some bottles of alcohol, for better or ill. It says that you may all be subject of corruption because of the cultists. This is the only way to get it out. I'll say someone's noise will be throwing up behind the bonfire.
Yeah, lovely. Alric, what's Alric doing here?
Alric's talking to the other dwarf, and they're basically exchanging like who owes whom a favor from their family histories of like who's saved who down the years, like getting out family trees and stuff.
Fantastic. I look at comparing books of grudges.
Yeah, basically.
Ben, what's Max up to?
Well, I didn't know I had such heroics in me, to be honest. I've surprised myself, but it's also made me quite popular with one of the barmaids. She slips away upstairs with a note saying, "Meet me later." I'm feeling quite emboldened. I sink my drink and thought I'd better go and prepare myself and freshen up, step outside the pub, go round the back and take a leap up against the back wall. Just then a lantern shines down and I look down myself and then I see the corruption has spread. Oh, no.
Oh, no. And then finally, Chris, we'll come to you last. How does Leah spend the rest of the evening after her near escape?
So Leah's on the rooftop, gently stroking the head of her crow. But she's got some unfinished business. She takes from her satchel the finest hemlock and starts to secrete her way to the witch hunter's room, ready to put it in his nightcap.
Lovely, fantastic. So, thank you, guys. That's the first in maybe in a series of Warhammer themed games with the theme of pubs, as all great Warhammer games are. So, thanks to our players for bringing such joy to the characters. Thanks to you for watching and listening. Remember to hit that button, like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon for more Unconventional GMs.